Dark Horse Raspberries. Hey, it's Brainmuffin back with another beer review. And up today, out of Michigan, we have Dark Horse Raspberry Ale. Ale with raspberries added. Now this might be interesting because the raspberries could give it a very red hue. But 5% alcohol, so most likely, I'm betting they added it during the steeping. But because at that low alcohol content, I don't know if adding it in the secondary would be good. Would work. Higher alcohol content, it would help pull it out. No real nose. Oh, look at that. It is cloudy like it is a real fruit beer. Almost like it's a wheat beer. So if you put it in the ferment, especially secondary fermentation, it's going to make it cloudy like that, as opposed to putting it in the boil and doing the whirlpooling and all that stuff settles out in the bottom and doesn't get carried over. There's a bee on here. I just realized that. So on there's a bee and a big raspberry, a red raspberry. It's amazing when you look at supplements, everything raspberry is blue. I don't know why. What the heck is that? Oh, it's my shirt. Ha! That scared the crap out of me. I'm like, oh, there's a blue spot on there. No, it's just a green for my shirt. Ooh, a lot of raspberry on the head, on the nose there. Almost hints of sour. Wow. That is a good fruit beer. Wow. It's like there's hints of sour, and some of it's from the raspberry, and some of it I think is from fermentation. And it almost feels like a wheat beer. It's cloudy as crap. I mean, you can't see. It almost looks like a unfiltered cider from when I used to live in Maryland and all the apple trees around us. Man, oh man, some of the best cider I've ever had in my life just comes in a milk jug. You know, get a gallon jug. And it would actually start to ferment. You'd pour it a few days later and the carbonation would come off of it, and it'd be like, because it wasn't carbonated, it was flat. Wow. I don't think it says much of anything at all. It doesn't. So it has raspberry on the nose. It has a very drying finish from almost a tartness. That's why I think it's almost a sour. Now Untappd just calls it a fruit beer. I'm giving this a solid 4. But it has this drying effect, and that's why the tartness, I don't know if the tartness is from the raspberry themselves or if it's from using a little bit of bacteria to give it a slight hint of sourness. It's not like a really sour beer. It's not like sucking on a raspberry sweet tart or something like that. There's no sweetness whatsoever, but there is this raspberry awareness. But the feel is almost like a wheat beer. It doesn't have the wheat beer spiciness, but it has this, see, a little bit of reddish hue in the head. Not much, just a tiny bit. But it's almost like they took the raspberries and just kind of squeezed them into the beer. Oh my goodness, that is good. That is a very different take on a beer with fruit in it. Especially being cloudy. Because you'll see this like in Festina Pesh by Dogfish Head. That is a sour Berliner. And they've added peaches. It's horrible. But I have to get a bottle of that sometime and just, you know, because I have all these craft beers and a lot of them I like. Every once in a blue moon I'll find something I don't like and I think it's not a craft beer. That I think there was like something 21 I did back there. Go look in my list and you can find it. And I'm like, ooh, this stuff's horrible. But this, I can see this being a beer that you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And I'm in the love category. This is, you could have this with, do you mind? I'll get you some water in a minute. Go lay down. Go fetch something. But this is definitely a beer you can have some really pungent cheeses with. I mean, some French cheeses like Camembert. You got 2-day-old Camembert. So, oh my goodness with this. Oh, wheat crackers, cracked wheat crackers, 2-day-old Camembert. Or I should say yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So today, Camembert. I think it gets runnier as it gets older, if I remember correctly. So like semi-runny, but not real hard, you know, not the real runny stuff, kind of in between. Wow. It's like it has this, wants to be tart, but isn't. It's very hard to describe. It's like this tartness and bitterness all at the same time. And it does have a drying effect. And it's like, I'm raspberry, but I'm not going to it's not really huge. It has enough of a malt backbone, enough malt sweetness to pull that down, but you definitely get a raspberry flavor out of that. That is fantastic. That is really good. I think the only one I've ever had better was Rivertown's. They have a blueberry pale that they do for some bars around here, and that is spectacular. I haven't had that in years. I have to see if I can get a hold of that. See if they still make it even. Some of my beers that I've got on my list are so old from Rivertown, they don't even make them anymore. They did like 3 years ago, those reviews. That is fantastic. But this is definitely a beer to have, sipping around. I would definitely have it in a glass like this too. It's very festive. It has this fall feel to it. Like I said, it reminds me a lot of the ciders I used to drink when we lived in Maryland back in the early 80s up in the mountains. They about look like that. They weren't that foamy, obviously, but they had that kind of a look. They were like, I mean, they were just like eating an apple. I mean, it was unbelievable. Unfiltered cider, unpasteurized too. So that is great. So have you had Dark Horse Raspberry Ale? Do you think it's great? Say yes. I think it's basically, people are going to think this beer is great or it's horrible. There's going to be very little in between because it has some hints of sours, and a lot of people don't like sours, but it's not really there. So if you're really a big fan of sours, you might be like, well, just make it a sour. But if you're in between, I don't see people being lukewarm on this beer at all. But this is very good in my opinion. So Dark Horse Brewing, I think this is the first one reviewed from them. We definitely got to get more. They have a lot of these in singles. And I've been trying to get a lot of beers at Jungle Gyms. You have to get in 6-packs and 4-packs, and I don't want that. I want a mixture. So I really got to talk to Ed and see if I can't get something worked out. They got a lot in cans. And anyway, so obviously this is from Michigan. We are pushing for 100, and we're still pushing for some more Ohio beers. And I've had a lot of good Michigan stuff. I bet you, got some cheese from Australia. I don't know if I'd have cheddar with this. It's like a creamy, but pungent cheese is perfect. That's why I like Camembert. It has that creaminess, but it has that pungentness too. Whoops. All right, almost a party foul. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for clicking like. Thanks so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the subscriptions. The subs have gone up this past couple weeks. Absolutely love it, and I appreciate it. I'm striving to get to 1,000. That'd be awesome. We got 300 something, but we got to keep going. All right, thank you very much, and see you later. Bye. Look at that. 5% fruit beer. Wir warten von diesen Automaschine. I don't know what air conditioning is in German. Alles Ruhe. Sind Sie fertig? Auf die Plätze. Fertig. Los.